How come all I see is a black screen? Are we live? Oh, there we are. Okay, we're good. All right. I need my glasses for this one. What's going on, guys? Good afternoon to anyone that's watching this after the fact. So today was the first time I decided to try doing this stream on a Sunday rather than a Saturday. So we'll see how this works out. My original thought was that Sunday is kind of like a family day and also sort of like a religious day for people. So I wasn't sure if it was good to have a stream on a Sunday. But then at the same time, a couple people have told me that Saturdays is usually a day where, you know, you like to go out and do stuff on the weekend. So it's like, you know, which day is better? I don't know. So this is just going to be a test to see, get some feedback and see which schedule you guys prefer. So I titled the stream today, The End of Summer. For me over here in Canada, it finally started to get cold again, which sounds kind of strange. And this usually gives me like one more trip where I can go up north to the Cottage, which was where I went this past weekend. And that's where all this footage was from my most recent YouTube video. And it always marks the end of the season for me. As most people know, you know, Canada doesn't have the greatest weather, and our summers are extremely short. So I'm kind of been thinking about plans that I have for fall and different type of shots and different type of videos that I want to make. As last year, I really wanted to get some cool shots of like the colors of the trees and the leaves changing, but I was never able to get that to work out, unfortunately, last year. So hopefully this year I'll be able to do something like that, of that effect, but we'll have to see. I got a little raspy throat thing going on. Hopefully I won't be coughing too much. It's gonna get super annoying. So, anyways, today's stream is number 11, so that's pretty good. Now, for anyone that is new to this whole streaming stuff or new to my channel, I like to do these live streams for roughly about 2 hours. Twice a month, because this is something that forces me into a very uncomfortable situation where I kind of have to vibe off of my thoughts and sort of be in the moment, and I can't rely on my past writings and ideas to kind of convey topics that I want to talk about. And this is, I've mentioned this before, this is kind of like the fault or the issues that I sort of have with YouTube, where, you know, you can edit your footage and you can make it seem like you're more perfect of a person than you really are. And I don't know, I think there's an incredible amount of value in doing the things that make you super uncomfortable and doing things that are super difficult. And these are all ideas that I stress in my past videos and topics. But that's what this is. This whole streaming thing. It doesn't give me anxiety, but I kind of, at first, I'm a little scared. I'm scared that like, oh, what if no one shows up? Or what if I have nothing to talk about? Or what if the stream just ends up being super boring? But eventually, my nerves kind of settle, and I feel a lot better about doing these live streams, and I think it's something that I want to keep up with. So right now, in terms of content creation, I'm on a pretty strict schedule. I'm trying to post a video every Wednesday, so one video a week, at around 9 a.m. I think is my target. I'm going to try playing around with 9 a.m., 9:15, and 9:30. I'm not entirely sure which time is the best, but I'm going to post a video every Wednesday from now on, or at least I'm going to try. I want to kind of build this habit of being more consistent. So that's my hope with that. And then on top of that, like I said earlier, two live streams every month. So I'm hoping for 24 per year. Again, just to get my creative juices flowing, just make me feel that struggle again. And it really helped me out with my thoughts and ideas that I kind of want to dive into. And then on top of that, the third aspect of content creation that I'm pursuing right now is my podcast. So this is something that I haven't really been promoting that much. I haven't really told too much people about it. I have, let me see, how many episodes of my podcast do I have? Okay, so it's called the Bearzi podcast. You can find it on YouTube. There's a video version, and you can also find it on all the major podcast apps like Spotify and Apple. So how many episodes do I have? I know it's 20 something. Okay, 23. And then later today I'm going to be filming episode 24. Again, this is something, it's sort of like a side project that I'm working on, where I don't have my schedule for podcasting is extremely sporadic and all over the place, mostly because I've been struggling to find guests to have people on. So that's my biggest issue. I would love to do these once or even twice a week. That would be awesome if I could do like maybe 8 podcasts a month. That's probably my long-term goal for that project. But for now, you can expect maybe 1 a month, I think, until I get more guests in the future. So if anyone's watching this, if you are a fellow content creator, or even if you are someone that just likes conversations, and maybe you have a very interesting and nuanced opinion on, I don't know, some topic that you have a passion for, or maybe you have a very specific skill set in whatever field, I would, and if you would like to do a podcast, just reach out to me, let me know, because I'm super interested in talking to people, not just content creators, but I'm super interested in talking to people that are obsessed about things. Like, even if you are, okay, what's like super fringe? Like, let's say you're into like blacksmithing or something or carpentry, like a trade or a topic that I know nothing about. So you would think that these things don't interest me, but I'm the type of person that I am extremely curious about things that I don't know anything about. And what this has done is, by kind of opening myself up to discussions and conversations, I've kind of building this self-education through talking to other people. And I've really been enjoying it. And I never thought that podcasting would ever be something that I wanted to pursue. Like, I had no intention of creating a podcast. But the more and more that I do it, the more enjoyable it kind of becomes. And this is sort of similar to streaming, but to be perfectly honest, it's a lot easier because you have someone that you can converse with and you can kind of bounce ideas off one another, and then you can give them, like, it gives you kind of a break from your thought process, and you kind of let them speak and you can kind of recollect your thoughts and think about things. Whereas this right here, like, there's none of that, right? It's just 100% go, and there is none of that pauses or breaks in the conversation. So like I said, biggest problem, finding guests, huge problem. But I would love to just, and even if I could just promote other people's work, that was like the main idea for the podcast, because I've reached out to other content creators who are sort of more successful than me, I have bigger followings that have a podcast that I would, be interested in talking to. And you kind of get rejected a lot because a lot of content creators, they just want to deal with people that are at their level or higher than them so that they can kind of like boost their viewership. So they're not really, their main priority isn't the conversation. Their main priority is growing their business or growing their brand or growing their podcast. And I kind of thought about this and I was like, do I want to do that type of business model for my podcast? And I actually have no intention or interest right now of trying to grow it or promote it or any of that stuff. I think what would be cool is if I could use it to promote fellow creators in the field. And I got this idea from the Joe Rogan podcast because what he does by trade, he's a comedian, right? And you would think that he wouldn't want other comedians on his show because that might take, comedy gigs away from him and give it to them, right? But the way he explained it is that is a type of famine mentality. Whereas if you think in a positive way and you try to promote everyone and promote your peers and you kind of build this core group of trust and everyone kind of supports each other, everyone supports the art form, and everyone recommends each other's work, and the net positive of all those interactions is so much better than being consumed by competition, which is how I think the comedy scene was back in the day. Kind of comedians would compete for spots on the Tonight Show or the Late Night Show, or even just like movies, right? And sitcoms, like comedians wanted to get those jobs, right? And unfortunately, there was that competition mentality where everyone was looking out for themselves. Everyone was saying, me. I got to get mine or else someone is going to take it from me. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool to kind of push that to the side and promote this form of content creation where it's positive, you're building a community and you're supporting each other. And that's something that really resonated with me. And I was like, man, if I could kind of build, I guess you would call it a self-development podcast, where I could get fellow YouTubers and fellow content creators in similar niches as me, and I could kind of, promote their work, promote their ideas, and promote their thoughts. That's what would make me feel good, right? So that's the general plan that I have. It's still a work in progress, like all things. Nothing is perfect, and hardly anything works out in life as you would expect it to. So, who knows? The podcast could maybe it just does nothing. But the big thing for me is that I enjoy it and I really like doing it. So it doesn't really seem like work. So I've done 23 episodes, right? And the majority of those were super fun. It was just me having a good time. It didn't feel like I was being forced to do the podcast for the sake of posting content. It doesn't feel like that way at all. So I want to kind of keep that light and kind of keep it going, because that's one of the hardest things, especially for YouTube. And if there's any other, YouTubers that are watching this that might not have the level of subscribers that they had hoped for, maybe you have, 100 or a low amount of subscribers. One of the most important things is just showing up. That's all it is really, right? Just showing up, being consistent and posting, and just being around for the long run, because that's also kind of what YouTube wants, right? And I think this is why I see so many channels that start posting and they start releasing videos, and then they're 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in, and then all of a sudden they quit because you get stuck at like 200 subs and you put in all this time and effort and work and you're not getting any results back, or you're not getting any money back or compensation, you know, and it's like, it's so disheartening and it's so difficult. But if you can do it for the love of the work, for the passion that you have for the content that you're creating, then it's never going to feel like a job, right? And then you won't have those extremely high expectations for those low moments when the views don't come. And these are all things that I've gone through and I've struggled with. Like I remember being stuck at 145 subscribers for like weeks. I was stuck at like 145. And I remember because those like 145, they were like people I knew, you know, like your you know, when you tell your friends that you have a YouTube channel, you tell your friends, they tell their friends, you tell your family, your brother, sister, and everyone rushes to your channel and they all subscribe, right? Because they want to support you and they love you, but that's not your audience, right? Those people are your family. Those aren't your real audience. They won't be people that will be coming back every week, you know, to check out your content. So you kind of get stuck once your network of people runs dry and you have no one else to kind of bring over to see your work. And that's why it's just so important, you know, to find things that you enjoy, find things you have a passion for, and then just kind of do them without expectations of results, and especially money too. Like money's another tricky thing, because I always see people creating YouTube videos because they expect to make, you know, an incredible amount of money from Google AdSense and live some type of luxurious life. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Like even for me, I think it took me like a year and a half to get monetized. And then even when I did, with like 1,000 subscribers, it makes like 75 cents a day, like if that, like maybe even like 50 cents. So that's like maybe $20 for an entire month, which is like nothing, right? So like this dream of creating a channel to kind of hit it big and make all this money from AdSense, you know, a lot of the time this is just not how it works out, right? You know, but don't get me wrong, you know, making $1 or $2 a day here for work that I love to do, I appreciate it, right? I enjoy it. It's nice to get that. But at the same time, you know, creating with only monetary goals in mind, it usually doesn't end up very well, or it doesn't end up very good in the long run. Okay, so that was my little rant about that. See what's going on. Oh, maybe these Sunday streams aren't a good day for people. Oh well, it's okay. I can take this time to just maybe just work on my own thoughts, work on some of my own ideas, and kind of just hash things out with myself. One thing that's very interesting about this whole self-development stuff that I'm really into, a lot of the times you think of ideas in your mind, right? About like morning routines that you want to follow, new habits that you want to incorporate into your lifestyle. Maybe that could be healthy eating or following a new exercise routine, like whatever it is. A lot of the time thinking them doesn't accomplish anything, right? And I've really become self-aware of this recently, where whenever I actually write something down or speak it in front of a camera or put it on the internet or tell someone about it, then it kind of sets those goals into action. Because you can think about losing weight all day long. Like you can think about eating healthy, you can think about sleeping early and all these great positive habits that you want to do. But if you don't put it out there into the world, or if you don't write it down and put it on a piece of paper and make it real, usually those thoughts just kind of linger and then they get stagnant and eventually they fade away. And I'm not a person that enjoys journaling. It's probably one of the better self-development habits that I'm still not super consistent with. Like, I have my journal right here. All right, and usually I'm writing my goals and I'm writing things to do and all that kind of stuff. Let me see, when was my last entry? So my last entry was September 9th. So today's the 12th. So see, like 3 days ago. Like I need to keep up with this on a daily basis, but for whatever reason it's something that I struggle to maintain. And again, in my mind, I know that this is a good habit. I know there is extreme benefit in keeping a daily journal and keeping a to-do list. But for whatever reason, just thinking of that doesn't set the habit into motion, which doesn't create the necessary action to maintain that habit in the long run. Again, another thing I need to work on, another thing I need to get better at. I wonder if, again, I'm just thinking here, I wonder if waking up and then immediately journaling is the best decision. Like, I wonder if that's the best way to do it. Before I turn on my computer, before I get into writing or making coffee, to just make that priority number one. I don't know. What else have I been working on? Oh, books. So this is another habit that is opposite of journaling, where I've been extremely dedicated to books lately. So right now I'm reading this book, Psychology of Money. I read it once already. I'm reading it again right now. This is going to be the topic of a future video where I'm hoping to post a video about the type of books I'm reading at least once per month, so that you guys have a general idea and understanding where I kind of get all these ideas from, right? Because I always talk about like these new habits and these new routines that are bettering my life and improving my life, but I never mention where I got them from, or where did this idea come from, or how did I figure out to do that. And a lot of these things, they come from books. And it's not just paperback books, it's also audiobooks and ebooks, like whatever format is the easiest for you to consume is definitely the best. I know people say things that like paperback books are always better than ebooks, which are always better than audiobooks, but I don't know, I don't think that's true. I think that whichever is the easiest for you to consume is probably the best. Because like if you don't have the time to pick up an ebook and read it, or maybe your phone or your tablet sidetracks you, so you end up procrastinating instead of reading the ebook, like that's not good. Or maybe you don't have enough money to go and buy the paperback book, so then you never even read it anyway, right? So that's not good either. But what if you get the audiobook and you can listen to it in the car on your way to work? Then obviously that's the best choice of the three, right? Because you're consuming the material. It's better than nothing, right? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I've been experimenting with all three. I think I like audiobooks the best, just for the ease of use and convenience. Like I said, I listen to audiobooks while I'm at work. I listen to audiobooks during my commute to and from work, which is about I would say 25 to 30 minutes. So we'll say an hour there and back, 5 days a week. So that's 5 hours, right? So that's 5 hours a week I can get an audiobook time during the car ride, during my commute. In a 5-hour audiobook, that's a lot of audiobooks are what, 6 hours ish, 6-7 hours. So you can almost finish an entire book once per week. And and that's excluding Saturdays and Sundays. So for me, audiobooks are the best. Second best is paperback books. Something about just having the physical copy. This is another book I read, which was great. Just having like the physical copy of the book in your hand and just like kind of going back to the pages. Something about that is really nice. And for me, the worst by far is ebooks. I don't have a tablet, so I use my phone. I have a Samsung, what is this, Note 9? So it has a pretty big screen, so it's good to read ebooks on. But like I said, the problem is that I can also just instantly swipe away to YouTube or to my email or to WhatsApp or Instagram. Like there's all these distractions that come with ebooks that I find the least useful for me and usually causes me the most grief. I find myself maybe concentrating for 10-15 minutes, and then all of a sudden I'll get a notification from some app, and then before you know it, I've switched from my ebook reader and I'm in YouTube watching some new video or replying to some comments. So I think if you want to get into ebooks, probably the Kindle is your best bet, so you can avoid all those distractions. But then again, gotta have the money to buy a Kindle, and then on top of that, buy the ebooks too. So I don't know. I feel like there's pros and cons for all of them, because the other thing that's kind of annoying about books is that they take physical space, right? Like right here, 2 books on my desk. This is like taking up space, and I kind of enjoy minimalistic ideas where where I own less stuff, right? Hey, you guys made it. Hey, Batiste, Forrest, how you guys doing? You're saving me from my own demise. Yeah, I'm trying out the Sunday stream. I don't know, is this better for you guys or worse? Do you guys prefer Saturday or Sunday? Hey Nick, what's up? I have the same problem. Yeah, I'm trying to refine this schedule I have for live streaming. Like, I don't know, is Saturdays better or is Sundays better? Is this time good in the afternoon? Because I know a lot of you guys are in Europe, right? So you're like 7 hours ahead of me. So if I do it at noon, it's like 6 or 7 p.m. for you guys. Oh, you have the same problem with books. Okay, Saturday is the best. Okay, so I got 1 vote for Saturday. Okay, you know what? I'm going to keep track of this. Because, your opinion, you guys that I'm talking to right now, are the most important to me. Okay, so we got 1 vote for Saturday. 1829? Oh, okay, so 6:29. Okay, so it is 6 hours ahead, right? 6:30 p.m. in France. Okay, yeah, because that's what I figured, right? Because I'm 6 hours behind you guys in Toronto, which is why I do it in the afternoon here, so it's not too late for you guys. So the time is good. Forrest, do you prefer Saturday or Sunday? Which day do you like better? So I just want to kind of figure out, what's the best way to do this? Because I haven't really planned it out properly yet. I actually have a pretty crazy day today. After the live stream, I have a podcast episode tonight, so that's going to be fun too. Okay, so Forrest, 1 vote for Sundays. All right, cool. So we got 1 vote Saturday, 1 vote Sunday. Cool. How about you, Nick? I say your name. How do I say Nicholas? Nicholas? Well, we'll get it all worked out. But yeah, going back to the book thing. I've been like really into books recently. Like, I think it was also because I took a little break from listening to podcasts. I was like watching way too many or listening to way too many podcasts recently, and I sort of wanted to mix it up. Oh, Saturday. Okay, so 2 for Saturday. Because Saturday I can watch you, so I'm in a great mood before going to the movie theater or in town to see friends. Oh, that's awesome, man. The stream puts you in a good mood. Yeah, that's that makes me happy. That's really cool. Oh, going to the movie theater. Oh, I haven't been to the movie theater since pre-COVID. How is the movie theaters? Are they do you guys like have to socially distance inside them and wear a mask? Like, how does that work? I think movie theaters open here now, but I don't know the details. I'm assuming here, I'm just guessing here, but I'm assuming because Canada is pretty strict with the whole social distancing and mask situation, that I wonder if you just reserve your seats and then you're forced to be spaced out. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's something I definitely miss. I really miss going to the movie theater because it's not the same. Like some movies are great to watch at home and like in your living room. But there's other ones where you need that like IMAX surround sound big screen experience, right? So in France, or should I say France? I say France. France? I can't say it. I'm just gonna say France. In France, we have some kind of medical pass. If you got the vaccine, you can sit how you want. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. That's kind of cool. Man, I just wish things could just go back to normal. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm just like, I'm so exhausted from all the COVID stuff, I'm just like, it's so tiring, and I'm just like so over it. I wish things could just go back to normal, and unfortunately here, especially near Toronto, I think the numbers are getting worse again. It's getting bad, so it sucks. Because also kids are back to school over here. I don't know if the schools are open for you guys, but for us, kids just went back to school. I think it was last week. So there's been a whole bunch of like speculation about numbers getting worse, and I don't know. I just wish it didn't exist. I wish it could just go away somehow, But it's weird because this whole like isolation, stay at home, like pandemic kind of stuff, it's sort of good for people like me that are kind of like introverted, where I enjoy spending time alone, even though like I'm streaming right now, which seems kind of counterintuitive, but I really enjoy like thinking about my thoughts and just reading books and writing down ideas and thinking things through. Like I enjoy time away from society. So I don't know. Unhappy face. Yeah, I hear you, Forrest. Same here. I am so tired of the situation. Yeah, it's exhausting, right? Because it's been so long now. Like, it just, I just feel like I've been beaten down by it. Just day in and day out, just, hearing things on the news. And unfortunately, here in Canada, we have like an election coming up, and politics is never an easy topic, to talk about. And it's always a point of contention between people that have opposing political views, right? And it just adds to all the stress and anger that comes with COVID, and there's nothing good ever comes out of that. And I just feel like it's almost depressing to a point. Oh no, my great aunt got 3 vaccines and just died 2 days ago. Be careful, people. Oh, sorry to hear that, Forrest. Wow, so she got 3 vaccines and then she still got COVID and passed away? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's hard, right? Because that's what puts things into perspective, right? When you always hear about people getting sick and dying, to this horrible disease, but yeah, it's really sad. Yeah, it's tough. I hope you're doing okay, Forrest, and your family and everyone. Dang, that's tough. Oh, your great aunt. Yeah, that's sad, man. Like I know people too that have passed away from COVID, and they were here like last year. You could talk to them, you can see them, and then all of a sudden they're gone, right? Like they're gone from the earth, and it's hard. And like even at work, like there was this really I would say energetic and enthusiastic lady at work that I would talk to from time to time. She was super cool. We always had like really interesting conversations about stuff. She was very I think spiritual would be the right word. And then all of a sudden, one day, like last year, I found out that she like passed away. And this is someone that's like in their 40s, I think. Right? And then all of a sudden they're gone, right? So I don't know if it was COVID, but yeah, it's crazy, it's just so crazy. Let's talk about anything else. I just meant we have to be careful for a little longer. Yeah, that's important too, right? Like you got to be careful. So it's important to remember those people too, right? Like you never know, because your carelessness as a person, it might not affect your health, but because of the way like this disease transmits and stuff, it could affect someone else, right? It could affect another loved one, or just some other people, friends, family, like anybody, right? And that's like, you got to keep your guard up still, right? hopefully things will get better. I still remain generally positive for 2022. I know that the thought was like, oh, we hate 2020. 2020 was the worst. Just kind of so sick of it. And now that sort of bled it over into 2021. So it's like 2 really tough years, but I'm trying to remain hopeful and positive through it all. At the same time, I'm thankful to be healthy, because the thing that sucked for me is throughout this whole pandemic, I had to work, and my job is driving, right? Like out in the public, I'm out and about, like going to different businesses and dropping off boxes to people and picking things up. So like I'm out there exposed this whole time, right? This whole time I've just been exposed to so many different buildings and companies and people. And I'm always like, oh man, this is not good. Like, should I still be working? Is this safe? But at the same time, like, you have bills to pay. There's things we need to buy for Tiffany, our daughter, and it's like, it's hard, right? But at the same time, I'm thankful that I am healthy. I've been as safe as I could possibly be. Try to distance myself always from random people and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm thankful for my health, right? And I don't take that for granted. And I think that's something that people can forget about, right? And take it for granted. So ooh, so books. Smiley face with the tongue. I'm trying to have less things, but having an actual book in my hands and smelling it is how... Actually, you know what? That new book smell, like this book, it's like that new book paper smell. I know what you mean. It's like something about like having the physical book in your hand. It's so much more satisfying. Oh, and I also read an interesting study too about something about how your brain is better at, I don't know if it's recalling the information from like having actual pages and like reading a paragraph and then like moving to the next page. Something about that is I think it's better for your memory retention than it is reading the same book on a flat surface that you just scroll through that doesn't really move, right? Because even though there are pages on ebooks, you're kind of just like swiping, and you don't get that sense of feeling where, like, when you're halfway, like, like you can visibly see all the pages that you've read, and you can see like you got this many more, and it's like a different experience. I can't remember where I heard this, but it was some article that I was reading about books, because my thought is listening to an audiobook, is that just as good as reading it, or is it better to actually read the words yourself than have someone speak it to you, right? Because I was thinking like audiobooks are super convenient, right? But if they aren't as beneficial, am I gaining all the knowledge from it? Like, that was my concern. That's why I was like Googling all these things, like pros and cons between books, audiobooks, and paperback books. And I kind of arrived on this conclusion that I think it's good to use all three. Just, again, depending on your situation. Like, there's some days where I'm just so busy where I don't have time to sit down and just like crack open a book and read, right? So, that's when like the audiobook thing kind of comes in handy. I don't know. It's just, or maybe it's just preferences, right? See, yeah, me too. I have mixed feelings about audiobooks. That's why I was so skeptical, right? Like, it can't be the same as if you were to read it yourself. Wouldn't it be better to read it yourself, because then you're actually reading the words, you're using your eyes and your mind. Whereas, audiobooks, you're using your ears and your mind. Like, does that make any sense? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense here. Like, I've been thinking about it a lot, because like I want to get the most out of the book, right? The other thing that kind of sucks about audiobooks is like when you have those what do you call them? Professional speakers, or like voice actors, where like it is not the author reading the book, it's like a hired professional, but then they talk like this, and then when we're reading the book, and it's like this weird voice that's like kind of projected, and it doesn't feel like you're listening to the author's true words. It's like some stranger is like putting on a show. I don't know, that bothers me. I don't like that. I like it when the actual author narrates his book, because then it feels more real to me. Depends on the voice of the person who reads it, and if I read it myself before, also what the book is about. If it's fantasy, it has to be me who reads it. Oh, that's true. That makes sense. Like, if it's like nonfiction, like you, because that's the whole big thing, especially like the fantasy genre. Like, that story and narrative is built by you in your mind, right? And it's kind of like things are open to your interpretation, and that's kind of part of the fun of books, right? Is that your imagination can run wild, and you can picture and figure out all these things in your mind if you read it yourself. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn on both, on all accounts. But I definitely think I'd say ebooks are the worst for me. Simply because I don't have one of those Kindles, and it's just I always just get distracted by my stupid phone. There's always like some pop-up note, like I'll just be reading, and all of a sudden, like an email from my mom, or like a text message from my brother, and then I have to like immediately stop the book and then go see what they said, right? Like I can never just wait and check the notification later. You know what I mean? Like that's my issue with ebooks. Maybe if I had a Kindle, it would be a bit better. But at the same time, like if I have time to physically hold a Kindle and read a book, I'd rather just grab this, right? Like if I had to choose this or a Kindle, I'd rather just have this. Well, I guess the Kindle, you can kind of swap through multiple books, right? I don't know. I was listening to the 1984. That's Orwell, right? And the audio is 12 hours. Jeez. And it can be really hard if you want to find a part of the book you want to listen to again. Yeah, that's 100% true. I forgot about that. Especially, some books, they have like an exercise section. Like this one that I was reading, the 10x rule that I made a video about. At the end of each chapter, I don't know if you can see this. Well, I just opened up to the page. But there's like a exercise thing here where there's like questions for you to like fill out. And when I listen to the audiobook version, like if you want to do the exercises, it's impossible. Like you got to like pause the audiobook and then write the questions down and then answer them later. Like it's such a pain. And trying to go back to where these exercises are, I had to like take a screenshot of my phone of the time where they got to the end of the chapter to read the exercise. It was just a complete mess. It was like such a pain. So that's like another thing too. That's I know exactly that Batista's saying. I need to. I read 1984 like in high school, like way back, like maybe 20 years ago. I should add that to the list That'd be a good one to reread. When was that book made? Oh man, June 1949. You know what's funny about that book too? 1984. That's the year I was born. That always like messed with me. Cause it's like because 1984, it's like a book about this like what's the word? It's like a dystopian like future, right? And I was like, oh man, that was the year I was born in. Is this what's gonna happen in the future? I definitely need to reread that. But man, 12-hour audiobook. How many pages is this thing? 328 pages. Yeah, all of Orwell's stuff is great. There's another book I read too in high school, the animal one, Animal Farm or whatever. Let me take a look at his work. It's been a while. Is there a link here to books? Views. Personal. Here, literary career. How come this doesn't have like a simple list? Oh well, I'll look that up later. '80s kid, yeah, that's me. Shows my age. The funniest thing about being like born in the '80s was like when the internet came out, like I was old enough to understand like the magnitude of the situation. And when we got like those first like dial-up modems where it makes all those funny noises and then it kind of uses up your telephone line, and if no one can call your house and use the phone because the internet is using the line, and if someone calls you, you get disconnected. Like, it's crazy because I was old enough at those times to like understand what was happening. And the same thing with like Nintendo. I remember Nintendo coming out and that was wild. I was like, what the heck? But these are probably like very fond memories that I'm gonna have when I'm like an old man. I'm gonna be like that old guy. Oh, back in my day when dial-up internet came out, and we only had 8-bit Nintendo. Like, oh, it's gonna be so funny. French audiobooks can be really slow sometimes. Oh, really? Why is that? French audiobooks, like the French language seems like pretty fluid. I always thought that it would move at a faster pace than English. But what do I know about French, right? I was born in '89. Hey, okay, so Forrest, you know exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're only 5 years difference. So you know the '90s well then. It's interesting because all my memories start from 1990, like when I was 6. I don't have any memories of like the late '80s, like nothing. All my like vivid memories as a child like start from 1990 or 1991. I think. It's so funny. It's just cool having that experience and seeing like the start of the internet and the start of video games, and to see like where they are now, just like, oh man, so crazy. Batiste 96. Oh, is a youngin'. You're so young, bro. I'm like 12 years older than you. Oh man, you guys make me feel old over here. That's so funny. You know what's strange? In like so I'm gonna turn 37 in November. So what's this, September? So in 3 years and 2 months from now, I'm going to be 40. Like, that seems so crazy. Mine too, but I was 1 and I remember a lot of things that other kids couldn't. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like my memory was shot. Like, even when I was 3, 4, or 5 years old. Like, I got nothing. It's like a blank, empty box in my mind. I can't remember anything. I started school in 96. Ah, okay. So, how does that work? Like, is it like how we have school here? Like, you go grade 1, 2, 3. Because I think I started school when I was 5, but they call it like kindergarten. You do like a year of junior kindergarten when you're 4, a year of senior kindergarten when you're 5, and I think when you're 6 you start grade 1. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. Something like that. Well, the weirdest thing too is like, when I was like a little kid, I didn't live in Canada. We lived in Bermuda, the island, for like 5 years or something. But even then, like, I have no memories of that place. Like, you would think, like, living on an island like Bermuda with like the ocean and the fish and all the craziness that's there and the beautiful scenery, that I would have some recollection of feelings or emotions or some type of memory that stuck with me throughout the years, but I have nothing. It's very strange. My insomnia makes me forget a lot of things, but I used to have the best memory when I was a youngling. Okay, 3 years of 3 years of kindergarten for you guys. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't have the best memory. I don't know why. The Bermuda Triangle sucked out your memories when you left. Oh man, that could be true. You never know. Because isn't that the part where like all these ships just get lost and they just get wrecked? Like, Bermuda's a crazy place. We ended up going back there for a day as part of like a vacation once, and everything there it's like Americanized, I would say. Like, they use US dollars for their currency, but such a beautiful island, such a beautiful place. I wish that I was there when I was maybe a little bit older. It's interesting because I have a younger brother, and he was born in Bermuda. So that's pretty cool. So if I don't have any memories of Bermuda, there's no way that he does. Or at least I don't think so. But dang, 3 years of kindergarten. That's pretty cool. Maybe I'll go back to Bermuda again one day. That'd be a nice vacation, nice place to go. Oh, but then again, there's travel restrictions, though, right? Like, I wonder what the travel restrictions are like in the Caribbean. Can you even go? I booked some vacation time in February, hoping to go on a vacation, since I haven't really gone anywhere in 2 years, but no, it's not. I hated every second of it. Oh, really? I can barely remember. What do I remember about kindergarten? I remember my very first day, my mom dropped me off and then I cried. And then like all the kids are just like looking at me. So I think they were all there already, and we got to school on the first day late. So all the kids are already there. And then I came in, but there's already so many people looking at me, and then my mom left, and then I started crying. That's my only memory of kindergarten, and it's not a pleasant one. I have a very good memory. Oh, sometimes I remember tiny things that happened very long ago in my life. And I'm asking myself, why the hell do I remember such things? Hey, oh, that's pretty cool, Batiste. At least you got a good memory. That's good. I wish my head is full of too many conflicting ideas and contradictions. Maybe that's why I'm losing things. What's up, Derek? Big fan here. Hey, SP. What's going on, SP? How you doing? Thanks for stopping by to the stream. We're hashing out some random memories and thoughts of childhood. Unfortunately, I don't have many, which is a little embarrassing to admit, but hey, such is life, right? I wonder if going back would trigger any memories. Like if I were to go back to Bermuda for an extended period of time, like would I remember anything? Because my parents told me that I used to be like obsessed with fish, and that every morning I would go to the beach, and then they have like those what do you call those things? Those fish? They look like amoebas. And if they sting you, you have to like pee on it. Jellyfish. They have those like jellyfish in Bermuda, right? And then in the morning, sometimes they would wash up on the beach, and they would just, you can kind of see them in the sand. And every morning I would go to the beach and then like kind of poke them with a stick, or at least that's what my parents told me. But you would just think of, like, I thought I would have more vivid memories of a time like that, but unfortunately I don't. Fortunately, all my memories are just of boring old Canada. That's just what it is. Oh, one thing about travel. I was talking to my dad the other month, and he was talking about how hopefully when the whole pandemic stuff ends and travel restrictions go away, he asked me if I wanted to travel to Europe for vacation. That'd be pretty cool. Thinking of like going back to like, like Austria, or maybe seeing like Italy, or going through Germany or something. So maybe in the future, possible Europe trip in the works, but nothing concrete yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But that'd be pretty cool. For some reason, I was a serious person, and I thought all the other kids were being childish, and it annoyed me to death. And then I turned 15 and had to relive lost times. Hashtag fun times. Oh, that's funny. So you were mature for your age, Forrest. I was so childish up until 17, I think. Like all the way up until 17, all I did was just like sports, basketball, like super childish. Didn't care about anything. But it wasn't until I think I turned like 18 or 19 is when like I finally got out of that childish mindset. Like I was even at like 17, I was still obsessed with like Pokemon cards. Like Pokemon cards for like a 17-year-old. Like who plays Pokemon cards? Like 10-year-olds? And I'm like 17 playing Pokemon cards. Like, yikes, right? Yes, come see me in France. Hey, I'd love to go to France. Or France. That'd be awesome. Go to Croatia and Montenegro. Oh man, there's where I live, just outside of Toronto. There's like this community just south of me. This like huge Croatian community. They have like their own like Croatian. Like I want to say it's like a park and a church, but during the World Cup where Croatia was in the final, I was really cheering for them because my dentist, who I've known for like 25 years, he's Croatian, and there's like all these Croatian people around here that live here, and it was awesome trying to support them in the World Cup and seeing their flag and all that. And it was so heartbreaking when they lost. I was like Team Croatia for a couple weeks. It was awesome. It was so cool. Montenegro. I don't think I know anything about like that whole area where you're at, Forrest. Like Kosovo. What's the other countries? Herzegovina, right? Bosnia, like that little section. Like I know where it is on the map because I'm super interested in European geography. Like even like Macedonia is close to you, right? What else is around that part? Oh man, I used to be able to name all the countries in Europe. I don't know if I can still do that now, but I used to love European geography. Yeah, we know, Baptiste. We know Croatia lost in the finals, and who won? Your boy, what's his name? The young guy, Mbappe or whatever. That guy's so good. Congratulations, Baptiste. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you guys. France deserved it. There's nothing to know, LOL, trust me. The Balkans are boring. The Balkans are boring. Oh no. Oh no. Do you have Japanese in your blood? Yes. I'm half Japanese. So my mom's Japanese, and my dad is Austrian and Italian. So I guess that makes me 1/2 Japanese, 1/4 Italian, and 1/4 Austrian. But then I'm just like Canadian. So I have like an identity crisis over here. Keywords used to were old. That's funny. Yeah, that guy. How do I say his name? Mbappe. That guy's so good. I remember when you won, he was like 18. He was like super young, right? I was extremely impressed by like his composure for like someone that young on the biggest stage in the world. Oh, it's just crazy. Mr. International. Yeah, that's pretty much me. I have this weird complex growing up where I didn't really have like an identity. And I was thinking about making a future video about this, because like when I grew up, there wasn't any like Japanese people that I could like kind of fit in with. But then like there wasn't any Austrian people either. But then there's a lot of Italians in Canada, especially in Toronto. But then I kind of also didn't resonate as much with the Italian culture because I'm only like a quarter Italian, right? And so I'm always like, I always had this like what would you call it? Not gender, ethnicity problem, where I was like, you know, what do I identify with? Like who are like my people? And I always felt like lost and like isolated. It was very weird because growing up, you would hear like my friends would be like, oh, this summer I'm going back home to the Philippines, or I'm going back home to India, or I'm going back home to China. There's always like people have like a home, like an identity, because Canada is made up of all different people from all different walks of life, right? And everyone kind of just has a home. Whereas for me, I was like, I don't really have a home. Like, I guess I'm just Canadian, right? But then, I don't know, it felt so weird. And I always felt like I was at a place and I didn't really have like a core group of friends that were kind of related to me. Because unfortunately here, especially in high school, you kind of, even though, you know, Canada is like super multicultural and diverse, which is great, right? Like that's what I love. But there's like this weird thing that happens in high school where you kind of like get pulled towards like your people, like all the Indian people would kind of like hang out together, all the Filipino people would hang out together, all the Italian people would hang out together, and all like the African people. So everyone had like their own little cliques and groups, right? And I'm like in the middle, and I sort of can relate to all of them, but also none of them at the same time. So I always had this weird conflicting identity issue where I felt like who do I belong with? It was very strange. So yeah, so when you say Mr. International, I guess that's a pretty accurate description. That's so interesting to me. Everyone I know is the same as me. We are all 100% the same. Yeah, see what I mean? Like Forrest, like say if you were to come to Canada, right? You have a home. You know what's home. Like you have like people back home, like a language and a culture, like that identity is, you know, that it's relevant and you understand it, right? And that's awesome, right? You have culture. And for me, I was always like, man, like I don't have any of that, you know, like I don't have any of these like we don't have Japanese traditions that we follow. I didn't really have Italian or Austrian traditions that we followed either. So it was like I always felt in this weird in between place, like I was like in purgatory or something. It felt very bizarre, and I always envied that, you know, when people were like, oh yeah, you know, I'm going back home to like Kosovo or something, like, oh, you know, that's so cool. Or like, oh, you know, I'm like Baptiste, like from France, right? You know, speaks the French language, you know, knows French cuisine, French people, and like, you know, lived in the country. Like all these like things are cool, right? Because like you develop an identity and you learn about your culture and your heritage, right? And like that's awesome. And you will always have that for the rest of your life, and you can always call France home, right? And even if you travel, you know, like, you know, at heart, I'm a French person, you know, if you're born and raised, right? Parents probably French. I don't know, it's cool. I envy that, that people have. One of my best friends, his father is French and his mother is African. Mali? It was difficult years ago for him to know his place. Yeah. So it's like kind of like me, right? Like what would you call it? Multiracial kids. This music too loud. Yeah, it's like again, like it's hard to find your place, right? Fortunately for me, the one cool thing growing up, I had like all different kinds of friends. Like my group of friends, there was like there's a couple Filipino guys, there was like some Indian guys, there was like some Cantonese guys, like so like different and diverse, right? So it was like I've been exposed to so many different cultures, and you know, I like that. You know, that's kind of cool. And I think human beings, you kind of want what other people have, right? Because I'm sure that some people saw me and they'd be like, oh, you know, look at Derek. He can kind of like fit in with all the African guys playing basketball. He can fit in with all the, like, you know, the Italian guys playing that Italian card game, Briscola. He can hang out with all the Asian, Filipino, Chinese people because he's part Asian as well. Like they probably see that as like, oh, it must be cool to be diverse and you can fit in with all these different types of groups of people. But on the flip side of that, I'm also looking at those sort of ethnical people that are like, they have a true identity, they have a true culture, and even like language, and it's like, man, I kind of don't have that, right? So I feel like we always want what we don't have. So but you just felt like you had to pick one. Yeah, it was I don't know, it was strange. Because like people would ask me like, oh, what's your background? You know, I would tell them, they'd be like, oh, do you speak Japanese? Like, oh, no. Like, oh, do you speak Italian? No. It's like, have you been there? Yeah, I've been to both countries and like have family there, but it's like I only speak English and none of them speak English, so there's like a communication barrier, right? So it's like kind of awkward. But at the same time, you would think that I would just like identify as like Canadian, right? But there are like kind of like native Canadian people here, and they kind of, that's where like that whole Canadian accent comes from. And they talk like "hey," and when they say "about," they say "aboot," like that super Canadian accent. Oh, they'll be like, "oh, what's that aboot, eh?" Like those are like the true Canadian people. Whereas like I don't have that either, right? So again, that's another it's another thing that I don't identify with. So I feel confused. In France, for multiracial person, we have a word, Matisse. 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 Mixed racial heritage. Oh, there's this similar word in Canada, the Métis are Indigenous people from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario. What the heck? Canadian Indigenous people. Huh. So we have like a similar French-Canadian word to Métis. They spell it M-E-T-I-S, or Matisse. Matisse? Have you tried modeling or acting? Your hair and heritage are sought after. Modeling? No. Never crossed my mind. Acting? Kind of. Ever since I got into like the whole YouTube stuff and this whole talking to the camera thing, I was always thinking like, should I like take acting courses or acting classes? Because I'm sure that would improve my skills at creating videos in some way, because I'm always like being on camera, right? But the thing with YouTube is the reason I do it is because I have this love for filmmaking and storytelling. Like I'm not in it for the clout. I don't have any interest in celebrity or famousness or becoming rich or well known. Like these are not things that have any value to me. I don't care about any of those things, right? They don't mean anything to me. So I never had that pull to try to pursue acting, right? Because I know that a lot of people, they love this idea of being famous. Like they want the clout, right? They want the recognition. They want to be well known. And this is why they do, this is why they create content on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. But for me, I never had that. I never felt that way. It was more of a thing where I got into videography and I loved cameras and editing and storytelling. And it's like, oh, if you're putting yourself on camera, it's sort of similar to acting, because a lot of my videos I have, I'll write out a script of like ideas. Sometimes I'll like read it word for word, or sometimes I'll have to improvise, right? And that's like part of the creative process. And so I never really considered those things. People have talked to me about my hair though, because I have like this super long, like wavy hair. And there's this one guy, a YouTuber, who talked to me. He said, "Oh, you should be in one of my future short films that I'm making. Be great to have your curly hair or whatever." It was like, what? So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, to answer your questions, no to the modeling and acting. I'd be down to do it. It would definitely be difficult, right? That'd be a good challenge for me, because it would probably increase my confidence of speaking in front of a camera, even though I sort of have that already, if that makes any sense. It's hard to be a native of some places sometimes. I wish I could speak French, but it's just so hard for me to learn it. Oh, that's interesting. That's true. Because like some dialects, it's like kind of hard to switch over, right? Like if you can speak Spanish, I'm sure you could sort of learn Portuguese easily. Or isn't there also like a connection with French and Vietnamese? Because there's like a lot of Vietnamese words and foods that are inspired by French cuisine and culture. So I wonder if that's like an easy thing to bridge. But even like for me, like in school here, French is our second language, and I learned it all the way up until grade 9, right? But unfortunately, I never had a passion for other languages, and I was pretty bad at it, to be honest. I wasn't good at French at all. But that's part of being Canadian. I thought I was going to be a voice actress or a comic book inker. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's dope. Voice actress or comic books. That's pretty cool, Forrest. I love all the creative stuff. Anything that has to do with creativity, like art, music, drawing, acting, comic books, storytelling, all that. I love all those things. The shot you did at the beginning of your solitude video was perfect. The aerial shot with the trees behind you, also the set. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's the one where I was walking out of the trees, down the steps and into the dock, and then kind of just sitting there or something. That shot, that shot was giving me anxiety. Because I had my drone out in the middle of the lake, right? And then the wind, there was like a downward current, and the drone kept kind of slowly being pushed down towards the water. And I was so stressed because like I didn't want to like be controlling my drone while walking with the shot, so I kind of had to leave it where it was, and it was like slowly getting pushed towards the water. Then after I finished that opening shot, I quickly got my controller and I flew the drone back. That video was it was shot at my parents' cottage. All those like drone shots was like, they basically live in the middle of nowhere. They live in like a town. I think there's like maybe 800 people there or something. It's like super remote. So whenever I go up there, you can find like peace and quiet. You can find solitude. You can, just go for like a 5-minute walk, and then you're in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere with like no one around you, and it's just super nice. It's something that I love to do, and it kind of just marked the end of summer for us, because I usually like to go up in September when it's still at least a little bit warm, and I can get like that final swim in. Because I like to go swimming up north on the lake. And after September, it kind of gets too cold. So September is like my final trip of summer. Again, that's why I had like a couple shots swimming in the water and stuff. So I can understand some Portuguese, but I can't speak it for the life of me. German voice actors are the best ever to me. That's why I fell in love with the idea. The anime I watched when I was young was all in German. After I turned 20, I watched them in Japanese or English. Oh man, German is like such an aggressive language. My dad, he can speak German. Or is it Austrian? I don't know. I don't know if it's like a type of German, because they speak German in Austria. I don't think there's like an Austrian language. But some of the words, like the German word for like butterfly, is so aggressive. It's like crazy. Man, I love watching anime. Haven't watched any so long though. How far is their nearest neighbor? Okay, so I don't know how to describe this. So it's weird because so they're on the water, right? And their street, it's a cul-de-sac. So when you take the road, it leads to a dead end. And then at the end of the road is like my driveway into the forest to go to my parents' house. But to the side of them, it's just all vacant land. There's like 2 or 3 properties beside them that can be used for cottages, but no one has bought it, and it's just empty land. So there's no one there. And there was like just recently some guy, he bought one of those pieces. And then on the other side, they do have neighbors, but like it's far. Like if they're outside talking and we're outside talking, you can barely even hear them. Like you can barely even hear even if they're outside just like talking, like you can't hear them at all. So I don't know in distance how far away it is, but it is fairly secluded. And there's also like tons of trees. Like the trees are dense and thick up there. And even like wildlife, there's like bears and there's deer and there's like these wild turkeys that like are flying all over the place. Like I didn't even know turkeys could fly. It's like the craziest thing. There's like all this wildlife that I've never knew about really. But yeah, super remote. Lots of privacy, which is why they went up there. Because my parents, they kind of lived in Toronto and worked in Toronto for so long, they're just kind of sick of the city and how much people there are here. And so that's kind of why they went up there. Yo, that's a word, schmetterling, yeah. I remember, it's so funny that you know it. That's so funny. It's like, you think of like a butterfly, right? A butterfly is like this like majestic, elegant, beautiful insect, right? And then the German word is like Schmetterling. It's like this very aggressive, brash word to describe something so elegant and beautiful. It doesn't make any sense. Like I remember when he told me that, I was like, "What? That's what you call a butterfly?" Like it just seems so off. Schmetterling, that's so funny. There's some other ones too. Love the way you said it. I don't know how to say it. Like he says it with like this harsh. I don't know how. It's like it's almost as if he's like clearing his throat, and he goes like schmetterling, and it's like this horrible sound that he makes, and it's like I don't know. I'm trying to copy what my dad is saying, and obviously I'm doing a terrible job, but Schmetterling. If I lived in that area, I would write a true crime novel. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's on my list. That's still on my list, writing a book. I had some ideas. I was jotting down some ideas the other day of what I wanted to do and what I want the book to be about. It's just as soon as I can figure out the time and availability to kind of write it, that's going to be a huge goal for me in 2022. It's on my list of things to do is writing a book. It's just I feel like it's something I need to do because what I've realized is like in school I didn't like writing at all. I didn't like English, I didn't like essays or any of that type of stuff. But it wasn't until I got into this whole creative content creation stuff that I actually have a passion for writing, and it's very bizarre. And it just was forced out of me because every day I would have to write and brainstorm a bunch of YouTube ideas for future videos. And then all of a sudden it just became a daily habit. And then that habit, it kind of became a discipline, and that discipline turned into a passion. And now it's like, man, I love writing. Was I like meant to be like an author or something? But at the same time, I try to be as realistic as possible and be like, well, my writing is still very elementary. It's not that good because I haven't been a writer for that long, right? This is only something that I've been doing recently. And so like, I want to improve my skill of writing before I tackle something as, you know, as enormous as writing a book. But yeah, it's in the works. Do you do YouTube full time? No. I think my YouTube channel makes like $50 a month. Let me pull it up. Let me show you. YouTube pays an absurdly low amount of money. Let me see, analytics. Let's pull up last 90 days. So in the last 90 days on YouTube, so 3 months, I made $114. So it's like barely $1 something a day. Yeah, so, but like I said, I don't do it for the money, right? If that makes any sense. I would love to do content creation full time. That'd be cool. But it's not like my main goal that I'm focused on. I'm more focused on the process, right? I'm focused on the actual work and the love I have for the work and the love that I have for videography and storytelling and editing. And I want to get better at those things because that's what I love to do with my time. And if, you know, if YouTube works out one day and it makes some money, that's just that's a bonus for me. I would love for that to happen. But, you know, I'm not trying to force it, you know. If it happens, it'll happen. If not, I don't know, we'll see. It's all good. But I do have a day job. I work for FedEx as a courier, which seems very strange, right? Because this is like the most uncreative job, driving a truck around, picking up packages and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's something that I do and I kind of enjoy. It sort of gives me like a physical workout. So yeah, for now, hopefully in the future, full-time YouTube content creator, that'd be nice. I don't know, we'll see. You should watch the newest season of American Horror Story. Oh, Tina watches that show. Forrest. I watched, I think I watched season 1 of American Horror Story. And then maybe one other. Oh, I watched the one that had, what's her name? Is it Lady Gaga? I watched the first season and the one with Lady Gaga. That show's nuts. You can start writing a chapter, then summarize its contents and transcript for your videos. You mean like writing a chapter like for a book? How big is your FedEx truck? I actually drive one of the smaller ones. I drive one of those Mercedes-Benz Sprinters. It looks like a white, I don't know what you call it. It's like a white shuttle van. Yeah, if you search up Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, that's what I drive. It's like this little van. And what I do is I kind of drive around the airport, the Toronto airport, and then I pick up like usually little packages like business documents, envelopes, small things like that. And it's actually a pretty good job. I kind of like it because, again, like it fuels that introversion or introverted part of me where there's no boss breathing down my neck. Like there's no one looking over my shoulder, telling me what to do, making sure I'm doing this or doing that. It's just I'm alone in my truck, and then I bring like a Bluetooth speaker with an audiobook, and then I just drive around and kind of do my thing. And it's sort of nice because it also kind of gets me out there, because sometimes you might have like a couple boxes that are big and heavy, so it like forces me to be physically in shape too, right? Because I'm always lifting things, picking things up and all that. So it's kind of like, it's like a good contrasting job because it's very physical, whereas my whole YouTube content creation stuff, it's very mental and it's very creatively focused. So they kind of work opposite sides of my brain, if that makes any sense. Like one task for the physical and then one for the mental. Because I found that when I worked like a desk job, like a payroll job, or like a I don't know, like a normal job at a computer, I would get like mentally fatigued. And then when I would go home and try to like do YouTube stuff, it was hard, right? But with a courier job, I'm just drained physically. So like I'm still decently fresh mentally, even after like working a shift. So it kind of works out pretty nice. There's like this really good balance that I have in my career right now. And I don't know. Obviously, I love the YouTube stuff way more than the FedEx job, of course, right? If I'm being honest. But for now, it's good enough, right? Oh, I hated that season with Lady Gaga, but I watched them all. This season is about creativity and fame. How many seasons are there? American Horror Story. Let me see. It's been a while. Whoa, since 2011? Oh, there's 10 seasons? Holy. So the newest season, are you talking about season 10? Came out August 25th. So it came out like three weeks ago. Okay, so it's ongoing right now then. You are humble. The Sprinter is small. Is it small at all? Yeah, if you compare the Sprinter to the other trucks that we have, like the normal FedEx trucks, I think they call it like a Freightliner 900. These things are like massive. They're like driving a boat. I used to drive those big trucks, but I don't know. Oops, I must go. Something unexpected happened. Take care, yo. Well, have a good night, Batiste. And thanks for coming by, Batiste. It's always great talking to you. For more spoilers, ask Tina. Wait, so which season is the best? Because I watched number 1, Murder House. And which one was Lady Gaga? Was it 5, Hotel? Is it Hotel? It sounds like Hotel. Or maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. Which season do you recommend, Forrest? Which one is your favorite? Really enjoy. Hey, SP, thanks for coming by, bro. Really, it was really nice talking to you. Hopefully the next stream will be in 2 weeks. I try to do these twice a month. So yeah, definitely come on by the next one. And take care. Yeah, I think so. Man, season 6 is weird because all the episode numbers are like chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They don't have like regular titles for them. Oh, I love this song that's playing. This guy, Peter Sandberg, man, he creates like some awesome like classical piano music that I like to use for a lot of my videos. But I try not to overuse his stuff. You don't know? Because they don't have any relation, right? Like the American Horror Story seasons, like they're not connected in any way. They're just individual stories, right? Like you could go from season 2 to 7 or whatever, right? Yo, season 9 was called 1984? Yo, that's my birthday again. What is this? Why does 1984 keep coming up? American Horror Story 1984 is the 9th season. Huh. Should I watch that one? Dang. That's crazy. 1984. There's also this new season of its own of 7 episodes, I think. It's American Horror Stories. Oh, they aren't, and then they are. Watch the one with the freak show. The freak show. Freak show. Oh, season 4. Oh, it's like an older one, 2014. Oh, whoa, there's like a graph here with the ratings. And the most popular season of them all was season 4, Freak Show. The first episode got over 6 million viewers for the first. Holy sh! It's kind of died down a little bit since what is this? Season 7, Cult Apocalypse in 1984. The viewership kind of is dying down. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I have on my list to watch that I want to catch up on. It's just like I haven't really told anyone this, but like I have this idea where like I'm trying to limit the amount of like TV shows and Netflix and video games and all these things that I do, in hopes that I can focus more on this whole YouTube content creation stuff. And then maybe if it kind of like picks up or does a little bit better, then I kind of want to like reward myself by working hard to, you know, to sit down and catch up on some shows. I don't know, there's like this weird this weird mentality that I have where I'm kind of like in this grind mode right now. Is it? Yeah, on the Wikipedia. It says season 4 is the most popular, and then 3, and then it looks like 5. So 4, 3, and 5 were like the most watched seasons. So what did I watch? I watched 1 and Hotel, I think. So 5. So you're recommending 4. The only problem is like, would it be difficult to find the old seasons? Like, where would I watch that? Like, what is this shown on? What? Cable network FX. FX. Oh, Fox. Is it Fox? Oh no, it's not. Just FX. FX network. Huh. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I also want to really watch that documentary. I think it's called Night Stalker. That Richard Ramirez guy. Night Stalker, Netflix, I guess. It's on Netflix right here. Night Stalker: The Hunt for a Serial Killer. Yeah, this. I want to watch this. Oh, there's only 4 episodes. Oh, I could probably bang that out. Whoops. Whoopsies. Yeah, there's a bunch of things I wanna do, Forrest. It's just so hard. It's so hard to find the time for everything, right? So, I don't know. We'll see. I'll add season 4 of American Horror Story to the list. Or I'll ask Tina if she's watched it. Maybe she has. I'm not sure. I don't know how many seasons that she watched. So let's see, episode 10, double feature. The 10th season was split into 2 parts, each of which also had its own subtitle. Red Tide for the first 6 episodes and Death Valley for the latter 4. Oh, so they split the new season into 2. Oh, I see. So season 10 right now has 6 episodes that will end September 22nd. Okay, so next week. And then after that, there'll be part 2 of season 10 called Death Valley, which will have 4 episodes. I really want to finish the Witcher books. Oh, what's that guy's name? Oh, I watched the Netflix show. Is it? Oh my gosh! Hold on, I know his name. The dude, Henry, the Superman guy, played him. Is it Gerald something? Oh my gosh, what's his name? Oh man, what's the guy's name from Witcher? Wow. Yeah, Henry Cavill, like the Gerald something, isn't? The character's name is like Gerald. See what I mean about my memory? My memory sucks. I gotta Google it. Where is it? Oh, Geralt of Rivia. That's it. Geralt. What I think it was Gerald. Yo, I thought it was Gerald. Gerald of Rivia. That's so funny. Gerald of Rivia. Oh man. That's embarrassing. Stuck on the 5th book. Oh dang, there's 5 books? I stopped reading them 3 years ago and just continue with the other books. Are the books good? They must be good, right? Actually, like, the Witcher story is awesome. I wonder if there's gonna be like... Is there gonna be a season 2? Oh, the 2nd season of The Witcher, consisting of 8 episodes, is scheduled to be released on December 17th, 2021. Oh, so we're getting season 2 of The Witcher in December. Gerald of Rivia. There's 8 books. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Oh, there's so many. Oh, dude, that looks crazy. So there is The Witcher. And then, what? How is that numbered? This looks weird. Sword of Destiny, The Last Wish, Blood of Elves, Time of Contempt, Baptism of Fire, The Tower of the Swallow, The Lady of the Lake, and Season of Storms. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Who wrote this book? Author. Oh, it's a Polish guy. Dang, he's 73. Andrzej Sapkowski. Oh, I see. So the Witcher books were published in Polish first. From 19... Oh, wow. So the whole... So all the books were published from 1990 to 2013 in Polish. And they never came out in English until later. Oh, this one came out in 2008. Wow, that's wild. Gerald of Rivia. Oh, man. Dang. That sounds super interesting. You know what? I don't really I don't really read too many books of like different genre. I kind of read a lot of the same stuff. Like I read a lot of like books on habits and routines and discipline and finance and investing. Like I read all these like super boring books. Maybe not boring. I don't have like very dry information type books. I don't read anything of like fantasy. Because like, I guess you call it like fiction books, right? Like books of fiction. I don't really read too much of that. The Witcher would probably be so good though. I love the Netflix show. Man, sorry about the coughing. It's so annoying. Maybe it would be good to mix it up to kind of broaden my horizon and not always read the same old dry books on habit change and self-development and all this stuff. Because I'm sure I could gain perspective from that as well. I should really write these down, like create a list. Because I never really know what to read next. It's just super random. It's like another habit that I really want to get better at is just writing things down. It's like so important to write things down, write down to-do lists and goals and dreams and ambitions and things you want to accomplish. It's like so important. And every time I've written things down, I've always had really good results. And this is something that I desperately need to do more often. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future has in store. Oh, you know what I noticed? There was like this weird because after the stream ends, I usually watch like the replay, and so if I have time, I'll put in those, what do you call them, chapters, where in the slider bar it shows you what each section is about in the conversation. For the people that don't get to watch this live, but the last time that I was re-watching one of the streams, there was like this weird screeching noise in the stream. I wonder if you guys hear that. There is this saying in Albanian, the smart one writes things down, the fool remembers. Oh, wow. The smart one writes things down, the fool remembers. Huh. Oh, that's a great saying. I like that. The fool remembers. Yeah, I got to, man. It's so hard, you know, it's so hard to follow good habits, you know? Because it's so easy to just like blow it off and just do something else. It's so easy to choose like the cheeseburger instead of the salad, or choose the television instead of the dumbbells, right? And I think I'm like that with journaling and goal setting, because whenever I do it, I've always had like amazing results whenever I write things down. And it's kind of like my fitness and my diet. Like, I'm very consistent with, you know, eating decent food, eating healthy, and getting enough exercise and working out. And, you know, these are all habits that are kind of like ingrained in me at this point. But like these other ones that I want to get better at. Another one is not just morning routines. I've been thinking about this idea of like nighttime or like bedtime routines, where I'm like really good at waking up super early every day and just like waking up at the same time and being productive in the mornings. But I have like a horrible like nighttime routine where I where you should go to bed at the same time every day and then wake up at the same time every morning. I got the morning part down, but at night it's like my brain sometimes refuses to shut off, and it just like my thoughts just won't shut up. And so I don't know. That's another thing that I need to work on, nighttime routine. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Whoopsies. Hopefully this is still live. Yo, my internet is not doing so good right now. Uh-oh. Okay, well, I don't know if this is working, but I'm just gonna assume it is. I got like some technical difficulties over here. What is this? Open widget. Stream status is poor. Oh, sorry guys. Yo, what is going on? Okay, I'm having like upload problems. Okay, let me close all these. Oh, we almost made it to 2 hours anyway. Oh, that was pretty quick. Yeah, that was, I don't know what the heck happened. Am I good now? It says I'm green now. My internet literally like just blew up. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, well anyways, we pretty much made it to 2 hours, so I'll wrap this up. So if there's anyone that watches these later, just I guess on my channel, or they watch the replay, if you follow these live streams regularly, let me know in the comments section if you guys enjoy this on Saturdays or Sundays. Right now I got 2 votes for Saturday and 1 vote for Sunday. I kind of want to figure out a time and schedule where this is the best for everyone. I think the 12 noon start time is pretty good, because then it ends up being like 6 o'clock for people in Europe. The time zone change, so that I think that works. But I'll kind of just play around with the days. Maybe we'll do. Okay, we'll say so. The next stream is either going to be on the 25th or the 26th, Saturday or Sunday. I'm not sure which one. Maybe if I don't get any other feedback, maybe I'll go back to Saturdays. But we'll see. So yeah, so if anyone's still watching this and the connection is still working for us, If you're still there, thanks as always for coming by. I always love talking to you. It's always good sharing thoughts and ideas. I really appreciate it that, you know, you always make the effort to show up, and, you know, it means a lot to me because, you know, it makes the stream enjoyable, right? Because it's like a familiar person that I'm comfortable talking with, and it just makes the whole process a lot more enjoyable, right? So enjoy your day, Forrest. Enjoy your weekend. Let me just send that. And yeah, and if you're still there, like the video, I guess, if that helps. I don't know what that does, but, and I'll have a new podcast episode coming out soon, and next YouTube video this Wednesday at 9 a.m. So that's it. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time. Peace.